Hello everyone, welcome to Reactify Labs. Today we will do another Leetcode problem called regular expression matching. It is a hard problem. And why is it a hard problem? Because for me it is hard because it is something which involves the use of dynamic programming. What is dynamic programming? We all know, and I am not going to talk about dynamic programming. If you don't know, let me know. I will make another separate playlist on dynamic programming in which I'll talk about it from scratch. Yeah, let me know in comments. But here I am not going to dive deep into what DP is. I am assuming that you all know that. And people say that to do how do you identify and how do you solve a DP problem? So they say first you find the recursive solution. Okay, recursive solution to the problem. Then once you have the recursive solution, you identify the repetitive steps and memorize it, right? That's what DP is. Memorize it or make it tabular. That's what DP is. Okay, and for me the problem is hard because I don't know recursion. I am terrible at recursion. I can do basic recursions like finding the sum of n numbers and Fibonacci, but I can't do better than that. Okay. So that's why this is difficult for me. I cannot do recursive. So how do I solve DP problem? I just try to solve it. Okay. Let me show you how I solve it. Hopefully it helps. Hopefully it does not. But that's how I do. Okay. So let's jump into the problem statement and see what it says. Okay. So it says, as the name suggests, regular expression matching. So you have to match the regular expression. You are given two strings. One is S and one is P. Okay. Actually, write it here. And if there are two strings, there are two strings. If one string is AA, another string is A, even a 5-month-old kid would tell you they are not equal, right? Of course. But if S is AA and P is AA, this is equal, right? But if S is AA, P is, now here comes the thing, regular expression. So sometimes, not sometimes, most of the times when we do text search, pattern matching, we use regular expression, right? We don't have time to search for all the things. For example, when we search, like let's say we want to know all the words that start with app. It can be apple, it can be application, anything. Okay, so we write it like this, app and then something. Okay, something. What is that thing? We don't know yet, but we'll find out soon. Okay, so that's why the regular expressions are important. Okay, and that's why this question is also important. If you understand this question, actually yes, if you understand this question, you will understand regular expression. Okay, most of the things in the regular expression. Okay, but yeah, there is a lot more to it than this question covers, but trust me, it's good. Now here comes one thing. For example, let's say you have AA, right? And you need to find, or let's say you have AB also, you have AC also. How would you search for all the strings starting with A? Okay, you can do A dot. Okay, A dot. So A dot means, if it's A dot, it means yes, A matches A and dot can match any character. Okay, dot can match any character. So if it's A dot, it matches. Even if it's AB, it's still, yes, they are equal, right? If it's AZ, even if like it's AZ, they are equal because dot can replace any character. Okay. Now there is another thing called wildcard. Okay, wildcard is again AA and P is, let's say, A star. Star is, star means, star after which the character after which star is written, that character can be repeated 0 or n times. Okay, 0 or n, not 0 or 0 to n number of repetitions, like there is no end to it. Okay, and can be anything. So they are equal, but a star matches nothing, empty string. A star also matches a star also matches a star also matches a. Just keep writing. Okay, this matches that. So this is called wildcard. It can give you anything. Okay, so you can write S as a b c d d d, and you can write P as a star, B, C, D star. They match because this star will match this, yes, and this star will match these two D. Okay. P can also be A dot B, C, D star, right? P can also match dot 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 dot. Okay, because dot matches one character, right? So if we have 3 and 4, 7 characters, if you have 7 dots, they match. Okay, so dot must match one character. Star can match 0 characters also, right? So if let's say S is A and P is dot, then yes, they match. But if S is AB and P is only dot, they do not match because there is only one dot. Okay, if S is nothing and P is dot, then also they are not right, means they are not equal. Why? Because dot needs something to match. Okay, dot needs something to match. Now there is another test case called, let's say, AB. S is AB and P is dot star. Do they match? Yes, since dot can replace any character, so dot can replace here A, and so now P becomes A star and A star matches, right? It can be anything. Dot can replace anything, so this can be the answer, means equal. So now that question is clear, let's think about the solution, or first let's talk constraints. So the constraint says length of S and P can be less than or equal to 20. Okay. S contains only lowercase English letters, and also star can only be in P. Because that's what you do in regular expression. So you have a document, right? You have a document in which you have full formed sentences, and then you do regular expression search, right? Then you do search. So when you do search, that's when you use regular expression matching, P star, X star, anything. This document does not contain star. It can contain, but that would be a character, like 8 star 4, which is equal to 32 multiplication. But yeah, that's why this document is S and this your search query, this is P, right? If you have used SQL, you would be familiar with this regular expression searching. We do that also. I think it's called like command or like operator, something. I don't know what it's called, but yeah, it's there. So now that we know the constraints, we know the problem statement, let's see the solution. Let's see how the solution can be made. Okay. So if you see one thing, in S you have something, okay? In P you have something. So let's understand with example. If your S is ABC and your P is AB dot, right? So basically what you need to do is, if you like, this is quite simple, right? A and A are equal, B and B are equal, you can just compare them. Even if it's dot, you can just say yes, if it's dot, I know it will fill something, so you don't need to worry. The problem comes when it becomes star. So you do not know if star will use this B or it will not use this B, or it will use how many times this B. You do not know that, right? So that's when the problem comes. Because if this is it, then the answer is not equal, right? Because this star can only repeat B, not C. So this is not equal, right? So the problem is we do not know what to do with star. Okay. So basically, for solving this problem, we have two cases. Okay. We have two cases. First case is when P of I is star. Second case is when P of I is anything else. Okay. Anything else means it can be any character A, B, C, D, or it can be dot also. Okay. It can be anything. So if it is anything, okay, if it is anything, how do you solve that? So let's say if I tell you A, B, C, D is there, okay, and there is another string called A, B, C dot. Now if I tell you, okay, wait, let's make it D. Now in DP, you know that we memorize the results, right? Just think of that. We have to memorize. Memorize means we know the result till a certain point. We need the result after that. For example, let's say your I is here, J, or this is S, this is P, okay? You want to find about D, okay? So you know that you have your answer till C, right? You have your answer till C. If you have your answer till C, then you know that you only need to calculate the answer at D. So if you know that S and P match till C, right? Then you only need to check if D matches, right? You only need to check this, right? So if C matches, it means, let's say we have I iterating here, J iterating here, okay? So if we have to find out about J which is at D, it means for this character it means we want this character to match this character, right? Match or not match, compare against this character, right? So at this point this is I minus 1, at this point this is J minus 1, right? So what you need to do is you need to know what is your answer till dp I minus 1 and dp j minus 1. If you know that your answer till this point is false means they do not match, then you do not need to continue your search. If you know that, if I know that my answer is this long and my answer is wrong here, there is no point continuing the answer, right? Because we know that there is no point going forward because it is wrong, it is incomplete, right? So that's what we say. If we are calculating it ij and we know our answer at I minus 1 j minus 1 and it is wrong, right? It is wrong, it means they are not matching, they are not equal, there is no point moving forward, right? But if they are equal, then what? If they are equal, then in that case we need to check if si minus 1 and, or sorry, if they are equal, if they are equal, then we need to compare if si equals to p of j. It means if we know the answer till this point, till c, then we need to calculate, then we need to know if these d are equal or not. Either this d is equal to d, like either these characters are equal, or this character is dot, or p of j is a dot, right? Is a dot. In both the cases, we know our answer. So what did we say? So we said, we said we have our DP. We know our answer. We know our answer till I minus 1. Our iterators on S, the iterator is I. On P, the iterator is J. We know that when we are finding answer at I and J, we know that we know the answer till I minus 1 and J minus 1. And if we know the answer till I minus 1 and J minus 1, all we need to do is, if I minus 1 and J minus 1 is true, true means equal, right? True means equal, false means not equal. If this is equal, and if the answer is equal, if the strings are matching till I minus 1, J minus 1, all we need to do is compare the characters at I and J. I and J means S of I and P of J, or P of J is a star. P of J is a dot, right? If we can do this, we have our answer, right? We have our answer. But this is one case. This is the case when P of J is anything but star. If it's not a star, then that is straightforward, right? So if you see our DP array, let's take an example of A, B, C, D, and again P is also A, B, C dot. So size of S is 4, size of P is also 4, right? So we make our DP array of size 5 and 5. Why 5? Because if you see here, let's make it, right? First we will write S in the rows. Like you can write in columns also. I prefer writing it in row. So A, B, C, D, first is empty. Okay, again first is empty. I will write A, B, C dot. So if you see, this has one, oops, my bad. So this will be empty. A, B, C, D. Okay. Now see, whatever the case is, we need to know if, like, there can be empty strings, right? Like your S can be empty and P can be A star. They also match, right? So that's why we should be considerate about matching the empty characters also. So when our S is ABCD and P is ABC, so the first one, keeping the first one empty means here. So for this row, it means your S is empty and your P is ABCD. So does ABCD match with P? You have to do that, not ABCD, ABC dot. Okay. So first of all, before that, if S and P both are empty, if S is empty and P is also empty, do they match? Yes, they match. So it means this is true, right? Now, if S is empty and P is A, let's say, do they match? Do they match? No, they do not. You cannot have A matching with empty string. So this will be false. Similarly, B will be false. Similarly, C will be false. And similarly, dot will be false, because I mentioned in the beginning that dot must always match at least one character. Okay. In this case, they are all false. Now, we had the benefit of doubt here in P that maybe P can be star. But in S, we for sure know that no character in S can be a star, right? So if no character in S can be a star, so if S has anything other than an empty character, okay, let's say S has A and P is empty because, sorry, P is empty because this row, this column considers P as empty, right? So if this is the case, then it will always be false. We don't even need to calculate it. This will always be false. Here at least we compared. If it were star, we would have made it true, right? Maybe. I will explain that case later. Okay. But for now, we know that this table is filled this way. Now you see, now we compare. At this point, what is P? P at this point is A, right? Oops, sorry. Yeah, that's the question. P at this point is A. S is also A. But what we are concerned with is if P of J is star or not. So we know that P of J is not a star. P of J is not a star. So when P of J is not a star and not J actually, if you see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, here also it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So when we do I and J here, so J at this point is 1, but we want P of 0, right? So it should be J minus 1 where we'll be operating. For your understanding, you can consider it J or J minus 1, it does not matter. But the calculations will be based on J minus 1, like the indexes will be little here and there. I would suggest you try solving this problem on your own. You will understand this, the index placements. But if you cannot solve it, I will put the solution link in the description of the video. That's fine. Okay. Just try to understand it for now. So here, if you see, we will try to find out here J is 1, right? So what we want to find out is if P of J minus 1 is a star or not. If P of J minus 1 is a star or not. So in this case, we know that it is not a star. If it is not a star, what I had discussed earlier, if it was not a star, all we need to do is compare dp of, because here if you see I is also 1, J is also 1, dp of I minus 1 and J minus 1. What is dp of I minus 1 and J minus 1? It is true. Okay. And that will be and with what? Current, comparing the current characters. So comparing the current characters means S of I minus 1 and P of J minus 1. In that case, we see that yes, S of I minus 1 and P of J minus 1 are also equal. It means true and true, right? If it is true and true, it means this is again true. Also, there is one more condition. Since you see this I is minus 1, we are doing I minus 1, right? So we also need to make sure that I is greater than 0. That is also another condition which you must be careful, otherwise you will get segmentation fault. Okay, array index out of bounds, non-existing index, anything, right? So true and true, this is true. It means, it says that if S is A and P is also A, you will get your answer, right? True. Now again, see the same thing. I will just try to finish this column and then I'll just fill it. Now if you see, again, now I is still here, right? I is still here. J now moves to here. Now you see, again, P of J, if you see, is not a star. So again, what we will do is we will try to find dp of I minus 1, J minus 1. So what we need is dp of 0 and 1, right? So dp of 0 and 1. We see that dp of 0 and 1 is false. We will do false and with S of I minus 1 and P of J minus 1. It is not required, right? It is not required because we know that already this is false, and Boolean algebra says if something is false, whatever it is after that, it will always be false if the expression is and. If something is true, whatever is after it, if the expressions are or, if the operator is or, it means it will always be true. So since we got our one false, we do not need to do anything else. Even if you see here, logically, you will see that S is only A and P is AB. It will always be false, right? So this will be false. Similarly, all will be false, right? And so this will also be false because S is AB and P is A. It will not be true, right? Similarly, all will remain false and these will remain true. You might ask, how did the calculation for dot happen? Again, the same thing. The calculation for dot happened, when the calculation for dot happened here, let's take this example. At this point I was 4, j was also 4. So we will find dp of 3 and 3 because I minus 1 j minus 1. dp of 3 and 3 is what? dp of 3 and 3 is true. So we will match t and we will see if s of I minus 1 and p of j minus 1 are equal. They are not, because one is d and one is dot. They are not equal. But at the same time, along with this, we will have one more condition. If these are equal, or if p of j minus 1 is a dot. If p of j minus 1 is a dot, then also this is true, right? So we get true, and hence this true comes. Okay, this is one condition, which was if p of j minus 1 is not a star. What about if it was a star? If it is a star, then we will have to do something else, just little different. What? Let's take this example. Let's understand with this example. So we have something called A, B, C star in P. Okay, and S is A, B, C, C. Let's say I want to make it true. Okay, A, B, C, C. So if you encounter a star, like before that, your same logic will run when it is not a star, not a star, not a star. Till that point, your dp will be good. Okay, let me make your dp. A, B, C star, A, B, C, C, correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Again I made the same mistake which I did last time. So now you see, this is empty, this is empty. This will always be true because S and P both are empty. This will always be false unconditionally. A, and if S is nothing and it's A, it's false, 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 and this will also be false. How this became false, like, like this is intuitive for now, because you know that A, B, C star, even if it's repeating 0 times, still A, B, and you cannot match A, B with nothing. So that's why it's false. But I'll show you how the calculation works in the next ones. So here if you see, again A, we will do the same calculation as we did earlier. So this will be true. Okay, this will be false, 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 this will be false. Again AB matches AB, this row is that, right? So this will be true. Similarly this row will be true, ABC matches ABC. Okay, you might ask why I am filling false here for the star, because I want to show you how it matches. Okay, then you will understand how it does not match. Okay, so this is also false and this is also false. Now what we need to do is, if you see here, we have A, B, C star. Okay, so if P of j minus 1 is a star, it means for S it's A, B, C, C, for P it's A, B, C star. So if P of j minus 1 is a star, what you need to do is, you need to look for if your DP has the answer till this point. Okay, till the character before the character which comes before the star, right? It means, because you know that C can be 0 times also, right? So you should try to skip C also. If you skip C, you will reach AB, right? You will reach AB. So you will try to find out wherever the I is. For example, let's say at this point I is here, J is here. So you will try to find out that wherever we are at the moment, okay, for this star, if I minus 1 matches till j minus 2, right? If it is such that either, actually there are two conditions which come here. If I minus 1, as in like string of I minus 1 is equal to, means S of I minus 1 is equals to P of j minus 2, like wherever the j is, j minus 2, right? Or if this matches, or if dp of I minus 1 j is true. If dp of I minus 1 j is true, right? Sorry, not I minus 1 j. If dp of I, because I will be completely there, and j minus 2. Why I and j minus 2? Because you may want to try to match A, B, C, C with A, B. So this is the condition when you consider that C does not occur at all. Okay. So if you see again, it will be like this. So if you see A, B, C, actually A, B, C star matches with A, B as well. It matches with A, B, C as well. It matches with A, B, C, C as well. Okay. And also other things, A, B, C, 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 multiple C. But here, if you see, if you are comparing, okay, if you are comparing, so, and you know that your I is here, your J is here, okay, if you know that, wait a second, A, B, C star and A, B, yep, so I made a mistake here. This will not be false. This will also not be false, right? Right. So now let's try to compare AB and ABC star. Okay. So when AB matches ABC, this will be false, of course. But when AB matches ABC, let's try that. AB matches, not ABC, AB matches ABC star. So when AB matches ABC star, we will find that, okay, we are comparing I and J, we have our I and J. If for some reason we can get to know what our answer was for this current I, but when J was J minus 2. What was J at J minus 2? J at J minus 2 was AB, right? So if we know this answer, if this is true, then we will have our answer. What is I and J minus 2? Let's find out. We have this I, right? And J minus 2. I at this point and J minus 2 is true. That's why this will be true, right? We know that this is true if this is the case, dp I and J minus 2. Why? I hope you understood it. I is here, J is here, but we know that since P of J has star, right? Since P of J, not J exactly, J minus 1, because as I mentioned earlier, if P of J minus 1 is a star, since P of J minus 1 is a star, we know that the character at P of J minus 2 can be skipped. I'm not saying that we must skip it. It can be skipped. So what we want to check is, we want to check if we are actually skipping it. So when we tried to skip it, we thought that, okay, let's first try skipping it. And we first skipped it and we got our answer as true. So we are good, right? Next is another case. It will be more clear with further explanations. Let's say I is here now. Okay. So in that case, if you see, I is here, so means I and J are here, right? This point. So if you see here, again, dp of I and J minus 2, right? We will check. But here if you see, dp of I is I and J minus 2 is false. Okay, so this is false, but is it really false? But we said ABC can match ABC star. Why is it false? Yes, so that's where another condition comes. So first of all, it will be dp ij minus 2, or it means first we tried that, okay, let's skip this C. Now we will say, okay, let's not skip this C, because when we skipped this C, we got the false answer. Because if we skip the C, P becomes AB, because it's ABC star, we skip C, P becomes AB, and S becomes ABC. Of course, ABC does not match AB, right? So we said that, okay, when we skip C, it did not match. So let's try to include C. Okay. So when we try to include C, we will do the OR condition with S of I is S of I. I means it's here. Is S of I matching P of J minus 1? Like, is this I matching the J just before the star? If this matches, again we have our answer, right? Again we have our answer. So since this is false, but this is true, we got our answer. So that's why if false or true, and we know that false or true, if it is an OR operation, logical OR operation, then no matter how many false we get, even if there is one true, it will be true. So this will be true, right? Now let's see the third thing. This one, ABCC matches ABC star, right? Now if you see, again, when we have I and j, we know that dp of I and j minus 2, we will see I and j minus 2 is again false, because this is where I and j minus 2 is. So it is false, right? We know that it is false. But what about false? We have false, right? Now we compare, are they equal? But we cannot compare them because they are not equal. You cannot compare C with a star, right? So since you cannot compare C with a star, you know that they are not equal, right? So what will you do now? Now you will compare. Now you know that because it's A, B, C star and S has A, B, C, C. Now you know that if I just try to find what the answer was for the same J, like for star, for ABC star, what the answer was till ABC. If you know what the answer was till ABC, you will know that the same answer will apply for ABCC, right? Because you know that it will apply, correct? So at this point, you know that, okay, since it is a star and we know that I and j minus 2, because we are not comparing it with against like 2 characters less. So that's why first of dp I and j minus 2, dp of I minus 1 and j minus 2, I minus 1 because again I mentioned, right, we have taken m plus 1 and n plus 1 size array. That's why there is a confusion with I minus 1 and j minus 1 plus 1. So but you will understand it when you try to do it on your own. Okay, dp I minus 1 j minus 2. If this is equal, if this is not true, then what we want to do is we want to check if dp of I minus 1 and j is true. If this is true and string of I minus 1 means also you cannot just say that if it's A, B, C star, if you just compare the star, it will not match A, B, C, D, right? So you will also have to make sure that this character matches this character, right? This character, the character that had occurred just before star, is matching the current I. So Si minus 1 is equals to P of j minus 2. Yes, I know I'm calling j here, j is star, but in that sense, if you see, it is here it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So star is at 4. So j is 4, right? But j is 4 in the dp. In dp, j is 4. But here j is 2 only. So that's why j minus 2. Okay. So that's why there is an index there is a confusion in the index when the index are used in dp and when the index is used in s and p, because these are using minus 1, right? Because these need to be accommodated. So please don't get confused here. So we need to compare that, okay, dp till just before this, what matched with this ABC star, this, and the character at that point is also equal, and also this OR is there, right? So if you like, if I have to give you the fresh and the final solution, I would say it would be like, for your I will start from 0 to m. Also before that, let me make some things clear. S is equal to, or m is equal to size of s, n is equal to size of p, right? And dp has size m plus 1 and n plus 1, right? Also dp 0, 0 is true. So now for also not dp 0, 0 is not true, let's make entire dp as true, false, right? Because let's assume everything is false, and then dp 0, 0 is true. Okay, Now what we do is we write a for loop where I equals 0 to m. It goes to 0 to m, like equals to m, and our j goes from 1 to n. You might say why 1? Because if you remember in the DP I told you, that this first column will always be false. First one is true, of course, 0 0, but another one will always be, because there is no star in S, right? So everything will be false. So that's why we do not need to do it, because we have already done the false here. Okay, so DP for loop will start from j equals to 1 to n. Now, as I mentioned, only two cases. If p of j minus 1. Why j minus 1? Because I mentioned, since DP has one extra row and one extra column, we need to adjust that in P and S, right? If P of j minus 1 is star, then we will do something, right? Then we will do something else. We will do something else, right? What will we do? We will write, if it is star, then dp of ij, we have to populate dp of ij, right? So dp of ij will be dp of I j minus 2. First condition, when we will just try to skip the character which comes before the star, right? If it does not match, then we will do or with I, and I means we want to make sure I is greater than 0, because we are going to access I minus 1. dp of I minus 1 j and s of I minus 1 equals p of j minus 2, and this or p of j minus 2 is a dot. Even if it's a dot, we'll match, right? We had discussed this. If it's a b and dot star, we'll match, right? So that's why. So this is what we do there. And if it is not a star, then we will do dp of ij equals I, again I for checking that it's not 0, dp of I minus 1 j minus 1 and s of I minus 1 equals to p of j minus 1, or at the same time p of j minus 1 is equal to dot, right? Double equals to dot. So this is the only very small solution to this question. All you need to be careful is with the conditions. Two conditions, one star, one not star. When it's not star, it's pretty straightforward. You only need to compare the previous character. When it's star, you need to compare the previous to previous, these two characters, right? And you will have your answer. If you did not understand it, try watching the video again, try solving the question on your own, try to dry run this algorithm. Okay, try to dry run this algorithm, and I'm pretty sure you will understand it. If still you do not understand it, let me know in comments. I will make a separate video explaining it in too much detail. Okay, even if that video goes 5 hours long, I don't care. I will explain it in too much detail. If you did not understand anything, let me know in comments. And that puts an end to this video. I thoroughly enjoyed making this video, because that was the first time, or one of the very few times, when I had to put in so much effort to explain it like I am explaining it to a kid, because that's how I prefer to be explained to when I don't understand something. Okay. So yep, that's all. Thank you very much. Have a good day. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe. I will see you in the next one.